Hello. Happy Monday, y'all. Hope that everybody is surviving and safe and warm on this Monday after all the snow. I know we spent a good part of our day today with no electricity. Thankfully, we're blessed to have a fireplace here. And we got to sit with the fireplace in the dark. Bored. Not fun with two teenagers. But our electricity's back on, so I'm grateful for that. I hope that anybody else that is dealing with no electricity, that in fact they get it back on for you in a speedy way. And not in the speedy way of, like Erica Kirk and the speedy trial way, but, speedy. That way. Anyways, there was a few things that I wanted to go over and show you. I mean, short of saying we are quite literally under a spiritual attack. I mean, I'm gonna show you the FARA reports, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And then I wanted to show you new lawsuits that were filed for Greg Laurie and what's going on with that. And then I had a couple, I don't know, I think I got some 911 calls from UVU that I want to show you. So, I don't know. Let's start with Greg Laurie. Okay, so as many of you know, this is Greg Laurie's from the megachurch in California, also where this is the guy that Erica Kirk just called up as one of the great first speakers in Riverside the other night. So let's start with the number of lawsuits filed against Harvest Christian Fellowship under Greg Laurie related to alleged abuse of young men and children's home in Romania now stands at 12. The original lawsuit was filed in September by two men claiming that Paul Havsgaard abused them at the children's shelter in Bucharest, Romania. Allegations include children being tied to radiators, being made to kneel down on walnut shells, being touched inappropriately, and being pimped out for sex. The number of litigants now has risen to 12. The law firm representing the survivors said that the news release in September that it expects 23 former residents of the children's home to bring complaints. The most recent complaints were filed in November. The court documents claim Laurie and Harvest Christian Fellowship, which sent funding to Havsgaard, were negligent in their supervision of Havsgaard, despite reports of suspected abuse. And an inspection team was allegedly sent to check the ministry in Romania in 2004. Harvest and its leaders are accused of telling the inspection team that Havsgaard was too important to Harvest fundraising to remove. Havsgaard remained in position, so too important to the mission to remove, despite these allegations of being tied to radiators and so on and forth, allegedly. Sickening. Havsgaard remained in his position 4 more years, but Harvest progressively cut its funding until 2008 when Havsgaard returned to California, the Christian Post reported. After the first lawsuit was filed, Harvest Christian Fellowship issued a statement stating in part, the allegations in the lawsuit shock one's conscience as they shocked ours. The allegations are serious and disturbing, but the target here should be the alleged perpetrator, not our church, or the fact that you sent the investigation team out and he was too important. So, that should not be, they shouldn't be held accountable for that, you know. So, yeah, the allegations are serious and disturbing. The misplaced lawsuit wrongly targets Harvest and our pastor as a form of financial extortion. It does not seek the truth, nor does it seek to stop the purported wrongdoer. The lead attorney representing the plaintiffs, Dr. Ann Oliveras, claims Harvest and Laurie are responsible through multiple decisions and actions in California. Harvest, Laurie, and Shute became effectively responsible for the tortured lives to which Havsgard co-signed our clients. She said the abuse they have endured must be remedied. How Laurie did nothing to protect them even after Harvest received powerful evidence of the sexual abuse is hard to understand. So his decision to let them suffer ever since. Harvest Christian Fellowship was founded by Laurie in 1973 in Southern California. The church has 4 campuses in California, Hawaii, with about 15,000 in attendance. Laurie has hosted Harvest Crusades evangelistic events for 30 years and claims that over 11 million people have attended and over 1 million people have made decisions to follow Christ. So, yeah, that is the happenings with Greg Laurie, the great Greg Laurie. Disturbing as it is. And then let's get to the here. Sorry. Oh, Lord. So this is from the FARA report. So it's the Christian Outreach Ministries US. Sorry, let me back that up. So it's Show Faith by Works. I'm sorry. Show Faith by Works has filed this, and they're in California, by the way. So this is a formal written contract between the registrant and the foreign principal. The agreement with the above named foreign principal has resulted in an exchange of correspondence. And then we get further into, will the activities on behalf of the foreign principal include political activities as defined in Section 1 of the Act? Yes is checked. Will the activities on behalf of the foreign principal include political activities and defined as Section 1? Oh, yeah, yes. Prior to the date of registration for this foreign principal, has the registrant engaged in registrable activities, including political activities for this foreign principal? No. If yes, describe in full detail, which they checked no. And we have during the period of the 60 days of the obligation to register for this foreign principal, has the registrant received from the foreign principal or from any other source for the entrance of the foreign principal any contributions, income, money, etc. And they checked yes. Date received 9/18/2025. So this was filed and put into works just after Charlie was killed right in front of everybody. 9/18, just a couple of days after, or a week after. So the purpose is for Christian outreach in the Western U.S. During the period, during the period of the obligation to the register to the date of the registration for this foreign principal, the registrant dispersed expended monies, and of course, yes. And in this case, it was, oh, I'm sorry, the last one was 325,881 for Havas Media, and then this one is $66,044 for general operating expenses and payroll. Political activity as defined in section 1, the act in which the person is engaging, believes will. So here are the signatures and names, and again, the dates. And these people are all in California. Melissa Lundy, Robert Pursley, Emily Hemingway. And, there's their signatures. I don't know if I can make this any bigger, but it's showing requested budget of 3,258, and then the ideal additional budget looks like 835,000. Significant raise. Yeah. So it's for the media, the specialists, and the administrative BS. And that's just more of it in detail. Shrink that down. There we go. So, purchase of a vehicle to tow the new 10-7 trailer, large fifth wheel capable towing vehicle for the 3040 mobile 10-7 trailer stays with the 10-7 experience. Maintenance and fuel budget, Uline 20x40 event tent, large tent to extend the 10-7 experience beyond just the trailer itself. Uline walls separate purchase 2x20 and 2x40, 55 touchscreen standing kiosk display, tent, imagery, printed signs, electronic sound equipment, strobe lights, empty tents, electronic picture frames, scene materials, mimic 10-7 VR headsets to create immersive October 7th experience. Of course, they need the portable generator, and they plan to go to California, Nevada, Arizona. Event sponsorship budget, Colorado event sponsorship budget, travel budget, SoCal team, hotels while traveling, gas, etc. Travel budget for Colorado, Chad travel budget in Colorado. And we got mobile 10-7 experience generator to power the displays. And it just keeps going over the same pledge cards for the 10/7 deployments, brochures, handouts, QR links, and social media channels, information about the campaign, prayer cards for the victims' families and hostages, custom flash drives and digital files, printed brochures, materials, nice maps of Israel for pastors, introductory letter and information. And we got the U-Line, 8,000. The vehicles, 69,999. They got additional 15. The touchscreen kiosks, 11,250. I mean, so they're spending a great deal of money to come over to our churches, our Christian churches, and infiltrate them, in my opinion. So total estimate, 87,499, 15,000. And then they just keep adding to it and adding to it. So purchasing budget, 424,961. This is just more on the travel and the gas. Custom 30 by 40. Mobile 10/7 experience, 175,000. Christian media and pastoral resource package, 350,000. T-shirts, merchandise, and Christian events and tabling events, 550,000. That's a lot of money to put into a VR headset to make our Christian churches and the people in our churches experience in virtual reality the events on 10/7. It's kind of sick. Targeted Christian population, 60% of them within major population centers, Southern California, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Tucson, and Denver. High estimate, 233. And the low is bullshit because we know up here it gets way higher. So these are just them number crunching on this. And then here, registration unit. This is, the many churches, Scottsdale Bible Church, North Phoenix, and it just goes on and on. Christ Community, so all over Colorado, Phoenix, Tucson. Wait, there's more. Oh, and more. Hold on. And some more. Oh, yep, much more. So this is in fact all on their campaign, all the places that they plan to attend with their VR headsets of 10/7. It's endless. They're going to be very busy. Calvary churches, the Assemblies of God. And here we go with the Havas media. And so here, the activity, combat, low American evangelical Christian approval of the nation of Israel. Use biblical arguments to highlight the importance of Israel and the Jewish people to Christians. Educate Christians on the historical importance of Israel and its significance in the region. Increase awareness in Palestinian ties to Hamas and to support for terrorism within evangelical populations. Counter new and evolving pro-Palestinian messaging and global narrative shifts. The goals. Use a combination of personal professional outreach to the Christian community combined with digital targeting and social media outreach to increase positive associations with the nation of Israel while linking the Palestinian population with extremist factions. Large-scale Christian outreach and education, individual Christians and Christian leaders, pastors and professors, impressive physical displays of pro-Israel educational materials, comprehensive digital targeting, and heavy geofencing of all Christian churches in the select markets. So yeah, all the markets that you've seen that was selected up there, they plan to geofence your phones and get all your information. Messages to pastors and Christians about Israel, its history, its people, its biblical significance, the place of the Christian New Testament, and more. Educational messages about the history of Jews in the region and before the creation of the State of Israel in 1948. Educational messages about the history and creation of Israel, its legitimacy, us as a power region, and its protection of non-Jewish populations. Education about ongoing activities to protect civilians and maintain moral superiority. Information about democratic freedoms in Israel, including religious and non-religious freedoms. Question the long-standing policy of two-state solution. Highlight historical coexistence between Jews and Arabs, continuing into the creation of Israel and many concessions made by Israel in exchange for peace. Information about the partnership between Americans and Israelis internationally, Christians in Israel, and the birthplace place of Jesus. Christmas message. Can't even have Christmas. So some more messages. Anti-Palestinian state. Hamas is a Palestinian terrorist organization. Palestinians elect Hamas's leadership. There was never a state of Palestine at any time in history. Highlight the Palestinian and Iranian goals are not land focused, but genocidal. Educate Christians on the history of radical Islam and the region. Highlight Palestinian support for Hamas, denial of atrocities, celebration of 10/7, educate Christians and the Palestinians, shelter terrorists, built tunnels in the Hamas, hide weapons in their schools and hospitals, and join attacks on October 7th. So basically, brainwash everybody into all this bullshit, in my opinion, bullshit that they want to geofence and brainwash everybody. Educational themes, history of Israel, current events, protection of Christians and minorities, rights for all citizens. Now, does that sound like all citizens? No. Sounds like Israeli citizens? Not on YouTube. They're the only ones that matter. Israeli support for U.S. in past conflicts and internationally. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Counter Hamas propaganda messaging, counter popular and incorrect arguments about aid and military targeting, root cause, and the conflict of legitimacy to their land and claims. Pro-Israel government and people theme, how churches can visit the Holy Land. Israel's significant links in Jesus and our faith. Israel's protection, Christians and Christian groups. I beg to differ. In my opinion, Christians get treated like shit there. positive messaging about traditional friendship between American Christians and the Jewish homeland. Not really sure why you have to spend millions to come over here and target our churches and geofence the hell out of us. Hire Christian staff in high density Christian areas: Arizona, Nevada, California, Denver, Colorado. Physical staff presence at Christian colleges, Christian seminaries, churches, and more. Pastoral resources packages, pro-Israel support, and educational materials sent to every church in these regions. Build and deploy the top-of-the-line mobile pro-Israel display with October 7 themes to be set up in Christian events. Pastoral education resources. 3 to 5 minute video messages and history lessons that can be played to congregations during morning announcements. So, they're trying to now, give the pastors, you know, what to play before they start their own sermon, I guess. Christian college activities presents on campus at Christian universities and seminaries. Hire students part-time to table events, distribute information that we compile, deploy mobile 10/7 trailer at Christian university events, merch handouts, connect with professors and education opportunities. Social media podcast. Christian podcast hosted by prominent Christian leaders, sponsors specific messages, and pro-Israel podcasts on several Christian podcasts. Weekly series updating Christians on pro-Israel talking points and responding to current events. Podcasts focused toward educating pastors and Christian leaders. Christian social media influencers sponsor pro-Israel messages to popular Christian social media influencers, followed by young Christians. Countercurrent pro-Palestinian propaganda with response videos. Highlight positive pro-Israeli media. And here's their digital support. The largest geofencing and Christian targeting campaign in U.S. history. Geofence and digitally target Christians who attend any U.S. megachurch in our target markets and beyond. U.S. digital tools to identify and show pro-Israel, anti-Palestinian messaging to U.S. Christians and Catholics in English and Spanish. And then that super mobile 10/7 experience, a mobile setup that visits Christian colleges and churches and Christian events, highlights some of the atrocities on 10/7, shows footage of IDF explaining the difficulty of fighting bad guys in hostile territory and civilians, and can use existing media from Darkness to Light Museum, VR headsets, set pieces and full-length TVs for interactive experience, because that's what everybody should have, is a 10/7 experience in virtual reality. Said no one ever. Traveling team will attend the table, potentially bring the 10/7 experience to major Christian events, Harvest Festival, Anaheim, annual Southern Baptist Convention meetings nationwide and statewide, International Christian Media Conference, and then Christmas messaging. December for the Christian church is entirely about Christmas. Suggest targeted messaging changes for digital mega churches in December. Israel protects Christians like no other nation in the Middle East. Israel is the birthplace of Jesus. Come see Bethlehem for yourself. Sounds all warm and fuzzy. Show Faith by Works LLC. And then we got a total of 325,896. And here's their detailed budget sheet, and there's their little targeted, densely populated Christian communities. From Southern California-based headquarters, generate, distribute, manage relationships throughout California, Arizona, Nevada, the greater Denver, Colorado areas. Hire regional teams in California, Arizona, Nevada, Denver, Colorado to make contact with local churches and schedule informational events and activities. Digital Christian outreach can be redirected to additional markets, but will overlap with grassroots activities. California has 40 million residents and roughly 18 million estimated church-going Christians. Arizona's two largest regions, Phoenix, Tucson, South, Flagstaff, Nevada, Las Vegas, and surrounding cities in the south, some Reno in the north, and Denver, Boulder, Colorado Springs, and Colorado area. Southern California headquarters, Riverside, co-located in near digital firm Raincross to better coordinate messaging and strategy daily. Houses, pastoral resource coordinating, and I mean, you get it. Possible Christian celebrity spokespeople like Chris Pratt, John Voight, Tim Tebow, Stephen Curry, Mark Driscoll, Pastor Greg Laurie. Sounds like somebody that should be passing on positive messages. The traveling team operates and sets up the Mobile 10-7 experiences at churches and Christian colleges. The California region must travel to Phoenix, Flagstaff, or Las Vegas and Reno, 8-hour plus commutes when churches agree to host us. Denver may be FARA to deploy 10-7 mobile trailer unless we get a budget approved for a second trailer. Set up outside the major Christians events, colleges, churches, and concerts. The 10-7 experience. Custom build trailer by professional Hollywood set designers. Reversible exterior walls allow for interactive 629 experience by walking to the side of the trailer. Opposite side of the slide out of the stage flooring to invite attendees to come into the trailer from the side. Mounted survive to tell VR experience interiorly with seating. Mounted generator with wired outlets. Exterior tent allows crowds to visit without being too cramped. 10-7 sections, because we don't want them cramped while they're experiencing 10-7. Call to action outside the exhibit using biblical messaging. And then more with the college activities and the 10-7 and the social harvest. And I think we already got into the pastoral podcasts and whatnot. So, I don't know. I say this I read this and it kind of made me sick, but I mean, we have really got to, honestly, we're responsible for our Christian faith, and they can't, I mean, well, they can and they will. They're going to come over and they're going to target our Christian churches, and they're just going to make people sicker, and all this madness is going to continue on. And I find it odd that this was all put together it was registered days after Charlie was assassinated. But I think if you go back and think about creepy messages like the text messages that he was being threatened in, and the outright fear that he expressed to not only his security, that, yeah, nothing that we haven't already covered. But I have a compilation of the 911 calls here. Some of them, not all of them. that I don't know. I kind of want to show
View.
or listen.
Okay, and
shot in the neck.
you were shot in the neck, or who was shot in the neck?
No, Charlie Kirk was.
Okay. Where is he?
He got rushed off in an SUV, a black SUV. He got right in the neck, so I don't think he has lungs.
Okay. Did you see did you see it happen?
Yes, I saw everything.
There's been a shooting at UVU, Charlie Kirk event, UVU courtyard.
Where
he just got shot in the middle of his speech. I'm in the parking lot. Everybody's running. The whole UVU is running.
Okay.
He just got shot.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
Hi. I'm at Utah Valley University. There was a gunshot.
At UVU?
Yes.
Okay.
Charlie Kirk is here. Gunshot. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Have you seen?
Everyone started running.
Okay. You haven't seen anything? Have you?
No, haven't seen anything. Only heard, and everyone started running.
Okay. Are you able to safely leave and go to your vehicle?
There's a big crowd. I'm trying to find my wife too.
We do have a lot of calls coming from that area. Can you tell me what you need assistance with, or?
Yeah, my daughter texted me and she just put, there's a shoot and then shoot with an E at the end. I don't know what she's trying to communicate, but that's my panic.
Okay, we do have reports that one person was injured. They have the school on lockdown right now, and they're currently clearing the building. Just have her stay put until an officer comes to her door, but as long as they stay locked down, okay?
Or do I dare text her? Because her phone will make noise, right?
Everybody's running. I'm going to say a prayer.
You made it to the car?
I'm in the parking lot.
Okay.
I'm thinking about where I even parked.
Okay, we've got lots of help coming that way. I'm going to let you go, okay?
Thank you.
So, a couple of things I want to point out on that. Those to me sounded like genuine, terrified college kids. Scared and running for their lives, not knowing what was going to happen next. And then I'd like to show you a part of this is Adam Bartholomew's video from Life is Driving. This is just after and how.
I'm going to go start watch my back. Yeah, I'm not fucking serious.
Safety team is here. I just heard them say the active shooter, Charlie Kirk, has been shot. Charlie Kirk got hit, is what the security detail just said.
But as you can see, the only thing expeditiously that they're doing is he plopped that chair over there and hopped up there and took that SD card out of the camera. Nobody seems to be frightened or rushing off, and these are all part of, his team. Just chilling, walking around. I mean, he used the very chair that Charlie was sitting in. If that's not contaminating a crime scene, not that it matters because, the crime scene was paved over and destroyed anyways, but let's just say that hypothetically, a real investigation was going to be done. In what world do you pull the chair that your boss was just assassinated in to stand on to take the SD cards out of the camera? I don't know what world that's okay. And anybody with common sense knows that's a no. You don't do that. It's contaminating the crime scene. Everybody should have been forced to leave that area. It should have been immediately cordoned off with nobody touching nothing. But that is not what happened, and we know that's not what happened. Just like we know 5 days later, they completely destroyed it, and they had to do that because of us and Candace, people just were not going to accept Charlie got shot. And I mean, no, this isn't okay. Their stories don't match ever. They can't stay consistent. They should have, if they wanted to be smart, they should have just kept their mouth shut. Nobody should have done any interviews. Nobody should have ever spoke out. Nobody should have been running waves of campaigns of attacks against Candace. And messy. Again, messy. I stick with messy. But that's all I had for tonight. It's been kind of a long day for us. So I hope everybody has a good rest of your night. And I will see you again soon, hopefully tomorrow. And I hope everybody sleeps well. Good night. Oh, please like and subscribe. Please. Please. And thank you to the new people that came over from Barron's again. I've enjoyed messaging back and forth with y'all. And I hope you're still around. So, yes, please like, subscribe, share, notifications. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Good night.